Hi, my name is Misty Plinus, founder of HorseLinc, and today I'm going to walk you through how HorseLinc works to save everyone time and money in the horse industry. We're going to use a test environment today, so you can see I've already entered my email address and password that I'm going to log into. When you sign up, you would do the same thing by tapping the sign up link down there at the bottom, but once you've already signed up, you would just hit login and it's going to take you into your horses page. We're going to switch over to the profile page really quick just to show you where some of this information resides. As you create your profile, you enter in your services with your rates, so that's completely customizable to the services that you perform. Today we're showing here some basic items that a massage therapist might use, but this will work across farriers and breeders and vets and anyone else who provides services in the horse industry. As you scroll down through your profile page, you'll see the View Stripe Merchant Account. That's where you enter your bank account information. That takes you over to your Stripe page to be able to update all of that information, to have either your bank account or your debit card entered. You can also contact us through this link at Contact HorseLinc, or view our terms and conditions and privacy policy. The Share HorseLinc tab will send you a link to share with anyone in your contacts or anyone that you have an email address for, to be able to have your clients or your friends sign up for HorseLinc. You can also switch to your Horse Manager profile, which we'll demonstrate later, or you can log out there at the bottom. If you ever need to update any of your contact information or your rates, you would click on the pencil up in the upper right hand corner. That will allow you to update your contact information there, or to add additional services, or modify the services that you currently have, or delete them. Be sure to hit the save button if you make any changes, but we're just going to go back. Now, anyone who has added you as a service provider in their profile on the owner side will show up on your horses tab. So if you tap on the horses there, you'll see all of the horse managers that have added you as a service provider. And if we tap on Barb Nelson, you can see the different horses that she has associated with her. So let's say we did some work on Jack today. I'm going to tap on Jack's profile. You can see the information about him, and then there's a Create Invoice button here at the bottom that I'm going to tap on. So let's say we did a massage treatment on Jack today. His information automatically populates at the top, and then when you tap on Select Service, it shows the services that you've entered in your profile. So if you tap on Massage Treatment and you tap Done, you can change the quantity of that treatment, or you can select another one. So let's say if we were to do another one, it'll bring up the other options from your services rate, but we're just going to have massage treatment today. If you need to add a custom service for a service that's not on your profile, you can add that here. That will allow you to say you had some travel expenses related to this horse. You just would enter travel and say $25 for today. Quantity 1. You can enter show information if you would like, that's optional, or you can add a note here to the horse managers at the bottom. That would just show up as a note within the invoice. And then when we tap next, it takes you to a place to confirm and submit invoice or save to drafts. If this was the only work that you did for Barb today, you would just tap confirm and submit invoice and it would send it off to her. But let's say we did work for other horses for Barb and we want them to be lumped into one invoice that gets submitted at the same time. We're going to save this to drafts. So now that's been saved as a draft, we can go over to our payments tab and see right here we have the invoice for Jack where we did a massage treatment and we charged her for some travel. Now before we submit that, let's go back and look at, let's say we did some other work on Spot today. So we tap on Spot and go to Create Invoice. Let's say Spot needed a laser treatment. So we tap laser treatment and Done. Let's say that's the only thing Spot had because we already charged her for travel on the other horse. And then we hit Next. And if we save that to drafts as well, then we can go over to our Payments tab and you'll see it adds them into the same invoice. Now if we're done with our work for Barb that day at that point, then we just go in here and submit invoice. It asks you to make sure you're okay with that, and you tap OK. And now you've just invoiced for all the work that you did for Barb today. And I don't know if anyone timed that, but under a minute, most likely. So when we go over to the Submitted tab, then we can see that we submitted an invoice to Barb. You can see it just refreshed there for $175. So When Barb goes to pay that invoice, it'll send her a notification on her phone, and it will also send her an invoice in a pretty invoice format. And so she'll get notified in those two ways. She can go into the app and can pay the invoice right then and there. It takes about 2 taps for her to pay it. When she does, this invoice card will move over to your paid invoice tab. You can see all the paid invoices that are in there already. All of this information on this tab can be exported by tapping on this little CSV square up here on the top. That will allow you to export. What it will do is send you an email with a .csv or an Excel file to your email address. You can do it for a certain range of dates or certain owners or trainers or even just certain horses. You can also select from just outstanding payments or just completed payments or all of them. That .csv file then can be sent directly to your accountant. Let's say you needed your revenue for the year. It's easy to export and send over. Or if you just wanted to load it into another accounting software that you're using, it can be loaded directly to a QuickBooks or something similar to that. And so that's the invoicing process. Let's say that you have a horse that you did some work on that's not on the app already. One of our new features is that you can invite the horse by invoice. So if you go to your drafts tab on your payment tab, there's a create invoice button here as well. So if you go to create invoice, you can search or add a horse. You can allow it to access your contacts, and it'll show all horses created for phone numbers that are in your contacts on your phone. So this might take a second to load. While it's doing that, I'll explain here at the top, you can search for linked horses. So that would be searching for horses that are already linked to you. So we could have searched for Jack here as well. Or if there's a horse that is not on the platform, you can add a new horse. The only thing that's required is the horse's name. So let's say you did some work on a horse named Coco. The rest of this information can be entered, but it is optional. And then you can go to next, and it'll take you to another invoice type screen. So you can see Coco listed there with the date that's automatically populated. You can again select your services. Let's say Coco got an acupuncture. Done. You can again add other services, change the quantity of the service, or add a custom service if need be. What happens here is it's with the set invoice method, you can either text or email that to the person. So if we do text message, done. And let's say I'm going to send it to a friend of mine, Kelly. It brings up all of the contacts that I have that are Kelly's. I'm going to send it to Kelly Hamlet. You can see the rest of this information is optional, or you can add a note similar to the other invoices that you send. But what it's going to do when you hit next and confirm and submit the invoice is it's going to text Kelly a link, and it's a smart link. So when they tap on that in their text message, if they have not downloaded HorseLinc app yet, it will take them to the download page and have them download the app. And once they do and create their profile, your invoice will be the first thing that they see. If they've already downloaded the app and they just didn't have Coco added, it will take them to the app and it'll create Coco's profile for them, or the start of it with just his name, and then take them directly to your invoice. So we're going to go ahead and confirm and submit invoice. So that will have just texted Kelly that information. If they're not in your contacts, or if you want to email, the email will do the same thing. It will send them a link, and it'll say, you have an invoice from, in this case, I'm logged in as Stacy Snyder. So you have an invoice from Stacy Snyder for X dollars. Please go to HorseLinc to pay your invoice at this link, and it will take them directly there. So here I wanted to show how I'm logged in as Barb Nelson now, who we sent the invoice to. And you can see this is her profile information from her profile screen. And because she has added Stacy Snyder as a trusted service provider, that is where then Stacy, as we just showed, could see all of Barb's horses. And these are the horse profiles that Barb has created in her profile screen. Now within the horse profiles, Barb can list herself as the trainer, the owner, or the leased to option there as well. Whoever is in the latest spot So if there's no owner or leasee listed, Barb would be the one paying for the invoice. If Barb was just the trainer and there was a separate owner paying for the invoice, she could put the owner's profile here in the owner section, and that person would be paying the invoice that you send over. Or if that horse got leased out, there could be a lease to option here that would be paying for the invoice as well. If there are multiple owners, they can list, as you can see here, multiple owners by percentage of ownership, and it will automatically split your invoices by that percentage of ownership to those different individuals. Also, as a horse manager, within the payment information, Barb could authorize other people to pay on her behalf. So let's say Barb was an owner, but Jane Jones was her trainer. She could authorize Jane Jones to pay on her behalf. And Jane Jones would also receive the invoices that you send over and have the ability to pay without actually using or having to hold on to Barb's payment information. So let's go look at the invoice. We were logged in as Stacy Snyder before and provided those services to Spot and Jack, if you remember. The laser treatment and then the massage treatment with some travel. Now, if you recall, our rates were $100 for the massage treatment and $50 for laser treatment, and the travel was $25. You can see that's all been bumped up here by 5%. So what HorseLinc does, it's free to download and free to use, but what it does is it adds 5% to the service provider's rates, not in a service fee or anything listed separate. It just adds that on to the top of your rates. And then HorseLinc pays all of the credit card transaction processing fees out of that 5% and then keeps the pennies difference. So as you can see here, this invoice is, $100 massage treatment shows up here as $105. There's also a tip line for the owners or trainers, the person paying the invoice, to be able to add a tip. And several of our service providers have said they are now receiving more or higher tips because there is a tip line there to remind people of that. In order for them to pay, they could either submit payment here, or you can see back here in the detail. All they would have to do is tap on submit payment, tap OK, and they've just paid you. It'll come off of their credit card and go directly to your bank account. In this test environment, sometimes this goes a little bit slower. But it takes only seconds to be able to do that. So now you can see that invoice isn't here anymore. This is a separate invoice from another test. But if we go over here to completed, you can see these from the 5250 and the 13125 for a total of 183.75. And the $175 would go directly to your bank account. They also have the ability to export all the information on payments that they've made and invoices that they've paid as well, the same as the service providers did. They can also add a new horse profile at any time with the button down here. That they could add the barn name, show name. The only thing that's really required is the barn name, but then being able to, insert, it automatically puts them in as trainer, but they can search for another person's profile to add as the trainer. You can create a new owner in here where it would, as logged in as Barb Nelson, I could create an owner for this horse by creating all the profile information here. And on the next screen, we would enter payment information. So without having to log out, you can create a new owner on a horse and then add registration information if you wanted to have a consolidated place to store that information. Within each profile, you can see that you have the ability down here further to switch to provider profile. So if I tap on that, this takes you through the intro screens to kind of show some of the main features to be able to use the app. And then when you get through that, you can see Barb Nelson as a service provider has board, some schooling rides, and some lessons. And she has one client listed here that's added her as a trusted service provider. But I wanted to show the ability, if you own horses and provide services to horses, which 80%, believe it or not, of the service providers in the horse industry are, you can handle both from one account and just switch back and forth via this switch to manager profile. Takes you back to your horses. So bouncing back over to Stacy's profile here really quick, I just wanted to show you that the invoice that we just paid with Barb has gone from the submitted to the paid right here. There's your $175 for the 2 services that were provided. So that automatically moves over to paid so that you can see at any time in the submitted tab all of the people who still owe you money. Unfortunately, Stacy gets used for our demos a lot, so there's a lot of people out there that still owe her money, but hopefully your list is a lot shorter. Within here, you can also you can edit the invoice at any time. You can mark it as paid. If you submit an invoice and somebody happens to hand you a wad of cash or shoot you a check, you can mark it as paid, and that will move it over to your paid invoices tab without any payment transaction happening through the app. And you can also send a payment reminder, which will email and text the individual paying for the information or paying for that horse. To be sure to go back to HorseLinc to be able to pay you. So that wraps up the demo for HorseLinc for today. If you have any questions, please feel free to visit our website at www.horselinc.com. We have additional videos out on our YouTube channel. If you forget or want a refresher on any of these features and how they work, you can always go out there and take a look at our, the videos the informational videos that we have there as well. And we have a link to there from our website. Please also be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram to make sure you keep up to date on all the new features. We're working on new items all the time, and we're excited to share those with you through social media. Thank you very much for your time today. I really appreciate you logging in to listen. Have a great day.